guys, it's Chris. I wanted to address some comments that I received about another video because I think a lot of other people might have the same misconception. But to get to the bottom of it, Flux has a regular block reward halving as well as a node collateral halving, and that's very confusing because a lot of people think that that those are the same thing, and they're not. So the block reward having is the same thing as with Bitcoin. So with Flux, every 2.5 years, Bitcoin has its own schedule, but with Flux, every 2.5 years, the amount of blocks, the reward that goes out for solving a block is cut in half. So that's going to get lower and lower and lower. Right now, I think it's 75, and that's just going to get smaller and smaller. I believe the next halving is January 31st of 2023. So that's coming up fairly soon, and that's going to, like I said, cut the reward that's going to go out to the miners. It's also cutting the reward that goes out to the node operators, because on Flux, the node operators take 50% of the block reward, and the miners get the other 50%. So it's going to it's going to just cut all the rewards in half across the board. That gets, like I said, very commonly confused with a node collateral halving. And so what is that? Well, that's the amount of collateral that you need per node. And so last node collateral halving, and I say halving, it's not really a halving. It's totally different. It's not cut in half. It's however they want it to be with Flux. So last time that happened, which is I don't know, like 6 months, a year ago, something like that. They went from a cumulus node costing 10,000 Flux to run, or you'd have to stake 10,000 Flux to run just a cumulus node. That went all the way down to 1,000 Flux. And I think the Cirrus node, the Stratus node, I think, I'm blanking on, but whatever's the highest, I think it's Stratus node, that went from 100,000 down to 40,000. And then the Nimbus node went from 25,000 to 1250. So that's the only one that actually halved. Everything else was a little less than that. So that's how everything changed, but also the requirements to run the node changed as well. And so it's completely up to the powers that be to decide what happens with the node collateral halving. And so the schedule for that is also completely different. It's not going to be every 2.5 years. It's going to grow with the network. So if tomorrow, like, there's some crazy thing that happens, and overnight, the Flux network is overrun and everybody's trying to move everything over there for whatever reason, which that's super unlikely. But let's just hypothetically, if everyone got on it overnight and it was just chugging and it couldn't keep up, well, Dan Keller would come out and be like, we got to do another collateral happening, and they knock everything down where you'd be running a cumulus for 100 Flux or 250 or something, and instantly overnight you'd get 4 times as many cumulus nodes. However they do that. And there's a lot of I don't want to say like arbitrage with the node. So like, if you have, let's just say I got I'll talk about my situation. So like, I had a cumulus node before the last collateral halving, and so it was 10,000 Flux, and I had a little bit of a little more Flux too. So when it went down, when the block, the collateral got adjusted, I had the choice. Well, do I run 10 Do I run 12 Cumulus nodes at, costing me 12,000 Flux and Collateral, or do I run one Nimbus node at 1250? Well, I chose to run the Nimbus because I just didn't want to deal with managing all those Cumulus. But you can see, like, depending on the day, it might be more profitable to actually have more Cumulus than just one Nimbus. Like that, it depends on, like, if everyone was only running Cumulus, the Nimbus and the Stratus would be extremely profitable. And if everyone was only running those, the others would be extremely profitable, because the block reward, although, like I said, 50% goes to the nodes, well, that's subdivided farther down. So I think, like, Cumulus gets like 7.5%. I think Stratus is like 12.5, and I think Nimbus is 12.5. I think the rest is Stratus. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that that's shared. So if everybody's running one, then if one person decides they're just going to run that one Stratus, they would get that entire lot of it to themselves. So that balances out naturally. So a lot of people like myself, I'll just, whatever I have the Flux to run, I'll just choose the highest one and then go down the line. So I would never want to run like 12 Cumulus, just because it's just all the upkeep, but there's people that are willing to do that. They got everything really dialed, figured out, so they can take advantage of that, profitability, and just run whatever most profitable at the time. But that's how they scale the Flux network. So if you're ever wondering, how does the Flux network scale? Well, it scales when they do the collateral halvings, and they can happen whenever they want them to happen. And if it grows, if it there's huge demand, then they'll do another halving. That's just kind of part of the way Flux works, and it's a good thing. If I got a Nimbus node right now, I got everything else locked up in Titan nodes, and down the line, like the next halving, I'll probably be running a Stratus node, and eventually at some point I'm gonna be running some serious horsepower. You get like 2 or 3 halvings down the road, like I'll have a good chunk of a data center just devoted just to my little piece of the pie, because that's why I said in my last video, I think the staking on Flux is not conventional staking. It's almost like proof of work itself. You're gonna have to run some serious hardware, like in the future. That's not something they say. I've saw it in MMA. That's not a question anyone's posted anywhere, but like it's obvious that they're gonna have to scale this network, and if this thing grows as far as it's likely to, I mean, you're gonna, just to lock up 10,000 Flux, you're gonna be running some serious hardware. It's gonna be a lot of computational power to stake that. So that's a good thing, because if it ever gets to that point, which I think it will, then that means Flux is going to be a huge success, and you're going to be very justly rewarded for running all that. But it's just going to become harder to do from home, because the bandwidth requirements are just going to become like a lot. So it's good to know a lot of friends, who have a little bit of internet, decent internet connections, leave a little box at their house, and pay them a little bit of money for it, and that's kind of a way to do it. In the future, you want to spread out your nodes, that way you don't have to run them at a co-location center or do like some VPS stuff. But anyways, if anyone has ever had that question, like, is the halving and the collateral halving, or like, isn't that the same thing? It's not. It's two distinctly different halvings that happen within Flux. which makes it, you know, a unique project. Like I said, in my last video, it has no competition. No one's doing what they're doing, and they have a great idea. That's why I have such faith in the project, because I just see no one's doing what they're doing. They have a path to success. They're already been successful. I wish I would have gotten into the project sooner. I think I found out about it when they were around like 25-30 cents, and I found out about it because I'll just say that for another video. How about that? So I'm gonna leave you guys there, yeah, if you guys are wondering, anyways, have a great day. Bye.